I don't know if anyone else does this, but I don't like eating my breakfast at home in the morning in the cold house. So I literally sit in my car outside my work and eat my first meal before I go into work. And that's because I've been driving to work, so my car's nice and warm and it's comfortable. So I just sit there and eat my breakfast before I go to work. Where I work, there's this beautiful outdoor space that when the weather's nice, I'll always take my clients out there and utilize it because it's just the best. These guys literally started training while the sun was coming up so we could watch the sunrise. We saw the moon, we're getting fresh air, we're getting a tiny little bit of vitamin D. So while exercise is good for your physical health and your mental health, being outside in that fresh air and that beautiful outdoor environment, there's just nothing like it. It just sets them up for the day, it sets me up for the day, makes me feel great being out in nature, being able to give people a really good workout without being inside, because they're going to go to work and be inside anyway. So I love to be able to give people this amazing experience. It sets us all up for just a really productive, wonderful day. Let me just show you, this is what my car always looks like. This is a typical day in the life of my car, like all the time. So we've got, that was my breakfast, beef stew. That was my coffee this morning, and then these are all my coffees that I've just gone and got, 2 for me and 2 for my partner. Right now I am about 3.5 months post-comp, so my last comp was about 3.5 months ago, and I'm about 6 months out from the next show, and I feel really good, which is weird, because this is normally the point where I have a big come down after my last shows. It's always about that 3 or 4 month mark where mentally I just start to come down, and I haven't this time. One of the reasons why I'm not having to come down is because I didn't have the high that I normally have. When you win, like anyone who's competed before, when you win, the high is so high that it's lovely at the time, but there's always a come down at some point. So I've just learned to accept that that's how it is. But I didn't get a first place this time, so the high wasn't as high. I was pleased with how I went, but you know, the year that I actually won the amateur universe and became pro, like there was no high like it. I think it took me 2 years to feel normal in my head again after that. But this time there was no low, so I think there was no high, so I think that's why there's no come down. So I suppose that's the good thing about not winning is so in my head I'm a little bit more stable, I suppose. So that's part of it. But the other reason why I feel really good right now is because I'm doing something different this time. So I'm changing federations, I'm changing categories. So I feel like I'm starting from scratch. So even though I've competed many times before, I feel like a complete newbie, and I love that feeling. I love being a complete beginner and learning a brand new skill right from the start. So it's exciting, and I also feel like there's no expectations. When you've been doing something a while and you start winning, then there's, whether you put it on yourself or you feel like it's coming from others, then there's this expectation to keep winning. So it's almost like it removes the joy a little bit, because you just feel like you have to keep winning. So it keeps you really sharp with your training and stuff like that. But once you have these expectations on yourself, to me, I think it actually removes a little bit of the joy. Whereas I have all this joy again because I'm a complete beginner, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and it's scary, which means I can feel myself thinking constantly, what else can I do to be better? What else can I do to improve my skills? So I'm going to show you some of the things that I am doing differently this time that will hopefully improve my skills and make me better. So I will go train today. I do need to do a workout. I've got to do legs, show you some of my posing, so show you what I'm eating, show you what a typical Friday looks like for me. And I'm also, obviously with these videos, I'm really trying hard now to grow my YouTube channel, which is what these videos are for. So if there's any videos you would like to see, please just comment and tell me what you'd like to see next, because I am taking requests. So anyway, welcome to another day in the life video with Trish, off-season edition. Let's go. This right here is the most uncomfortable part of off-season. This is where you do your progress photos, your posing and stuff like that, and check what your body composition is doing when you're basically not trying to get lean. I've put about 5 kilos on since my comps, which is a good amount. It's a healthy amount, but you never really feel great when you put the 5 kilos on. And it's because in your head you always compare yourself to your previous best. So even though you might still be in a good healthy weight range, you don't feel proud of it. So you have to learn to love it.
Hey babe, why has my coffee got smaller?
Because you're naughty, that's why.
You don't love me?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Hey?
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
I spend a couple of hours a day on the computer. Here I'll do things like client check-ins, I might be updating my bookwork, I might be writing programs, marking food diaries, planning out my next programs, doing marketing, blogging, editing videos. I can't spend any more than a couple of hours on the computer before I literally start to go mad. So I've structured my whole entire week where I have a couple of really productive hours a day on the computer, and then that's it. Then I need to get out and do something else, whether it's food prep, go to the gym, whatever. So right now I'm just having some concentrated computer time. This is the meal that I always crave when I'm doing comp prep, because it's the meal that gets taken out. So as soon as I head back into off season, this is the meal that I'm excited to put back in. It's basically a thick chocolate protein powder. This time I'm using a WPC, which is a concentrate, mixing it with a tablespoon of oats and some water, and then I'm gonna put it in the microwave and heat it up for 50 seconds. I don't know why, but 50 seconds is the magic number. It just works really well. If I do it for longer than that, it comes out too hard, and if I do it for less than that, it comes out soggy. But when I do it for 50 seconds, it comes out like this, almost like a sticky date pudding. So while that's heating up, I'm going to chop up some fresh fruit. So on this occasion, I've got strawberries and blueberries. Put that all together. So you see there how it's got like that thick consistency there. So I'll pour it on the top and then just chop it up so it's like nice little soft chunks. Then I'm going to sprinkle some LSA on the top to make sure I'm getting some good fats. Then on top of that will be my toasted coconuts. And then there's these Cobb's popcorn with dark chocolate. At the moment I've actually got the milk chocolate one because I couldn't find any dark chocolate, but I'm sprinkling that on the top. And yeah, I portioned those out as well. And I've just started tracking all my food again too, because like I said, I have put 5 kilos back on, which is my max. I don't want to put on any more than that. So this is just a really good way of keeping myself accountable, self-awareness, and making sure that I don't slip back into bad habits. Decided to nick out to the shops and get my nails done as well, because I have this bad habit. I'm very fidgety, and when I have fake nails, I can't pick my skin. So even though I hate getting my nails done, I love having my nails done. And then while I was out, I also went to the supermarket, picked up some more fruit, and I also got some eggs because I just couldn't get any on my online delivery. Now I was very tempted not to include this part in the video because this is probably the most boring thing I could show you, but I need this to be a real day in the life video so you can see what a real day in the life of a female bodybuilder looks like. And this is a female bodybuilder who just doesn't have a dishwasher at the moment. So when it comes to doing dishes, I'm usually doing a whole entire sink 2 or 3 times a day. Now I'm happy with that. I'm fine to do that. I don't think it takes that much longer than when you have a dishwasher as well, because dishwashers, you still have to rinse the dishes. And I don't think I've ever had a dishwasher that actually dries the dishes properly either. So I don't feel like it takes up too much more of my time, but it is a very repetitive, monotonous part of keeping yourself in good health, in good shape, is just constantly doing fucking dishes. And now it gets a little bit more exciting because I'm going to show you some food prep. Right now I just really feel like eating scrambled eggs. So I'm going to crack all 12 of those eggs into this bowl, whisk it up, and then put 2 tablespoons of pesto and whisk that in with it as well. Pesto is one of my favorite flavors. I just love it. And you don't need a huge amount. So that's 2 tablespoons spread across 12 eggs, which will make 4 servings. So if you want to add some flavor to your eggs, I highly recommend trying pesto. It's just really delicious. It's 12:30 and it is time to take my 2 little stinkies for a walk. Ready to go for a walk? Who wants to go for a walk? Hey, Realfie. Are you ready? Go! You know what? I've never been a fan of any extra unnecessary lifting equipment, but over the last probably 1.5 to 2 years, I've started wearing knee sleeves. They're just the thinnest ones, and I only wear them when I'm doing heavy machine work on my legs, because I just got to a point where I could really feel the load in the joint. So I do wear knee sleeves, but I don't recommend them to everyone, especially if you're in your first few years of lifting and you're not particularly strong in anything yet. But once you're going past 100 kilos on anything, definitely get into just compression wear that protects the joints. This is me just finishing off my warm-up. That was 1 rep of my working weight that I'm about to work with, but I still need to do some more mobility work. So this is one of my favorite hip stretches, and I'm going to take my time with it. Especially on leg day, you've got to do such a good warm-up, not just warm your body up, but loosen up all your joints. So that is something that I'm really proud of. I've always prioritized over the years on all my years of lifting. So even though I'm not particularly strong, I can still feel that my muscles have gotten tighter from lifting. So if you don't prioritize your mobility, it really does start to hold you back after a while. And while you're warming up, you might as well do your mobility drills in between your warm-up sets, because you've got to do something anyway. And for me, it stops me from farting around on my phone. So it basically just gives me something to do. another one of my favorite hip mobility drills. So I'm pushing my knees out to the side with my elbows and I'm bouncing up and down, so it actually stretches your calves and your ankles as well. Really good to do in between your leg sessions. This is a new one for me, and I've actually sped this one up because it's single leg and it's really boring to watch, but very effective. It's a hack squat machine, but it's the type where it doesn't load your back. So I really like it because I'm not held back by the fact that my back is not as strong as my legs. But I did get to a point where I was passing about 120 kilos and the weight was so heavy that I was actually kind of shooting out of the seat because there's nothing really to hold me down except these handles, and if I hold on to the handles too hard then I feel myself sinking into my lower back. So I tried a single leg variation and I love it. So I'm not doing much weight now, I'm down to like 20 kilos and I can feel it absolutely burn. I find it really hard to isolate my legs, especially my glutes, in single leg exercises because on my left foot my big toe doesn't bend all the way back. So I can't do any split squats or any type of exercise where you've got one foot back and the toe is bent. So anything like this where my foot is in the front and I can push off with a single leg is fantastic. So I'm really happy with this, but this is probably the only second or third time I've done this exercise. So I'm still playing around working out what my right weight is. Alright, gym's done and now I've got my first post-workout meal, which is, there's 2 full salmon fillets in there, jasmine rice, sprouts, and parsnip. So you can smell it. Okay, bub, can you smell my food? I'm watching a YouTube video about how to make YouTube videos. Oh, well that didn't go so well because I just had an unplanned nap. And I literally fell asleep with my laptop on my lap, my glasses on my face, a bit like this. Closed my eyes and I was like, oh, there's some time gone. That happens to me when I'm doing a lot of editing and looking at videos on the computer screen. So anyway, my next meal, I've got crumb chicken wraps. So I crumb them myself, chicken tenders, there's ranch dressing, there's a little bit of cheese and avocado, kale slaw. So obviously I can't eat that and hold the camera, so I'm going to eat that, edit the next bit of the video and talk to you about what my plans are going forward. So this was one that I had earlier today, that was one that I prepped. It's a scrambled eggs with pesto, spinach, cherry tomato, pepitas, lime juice. So that will be my last meal, but before I do that, I still need to do my posing. So with posing, I got these new shoes. I only found a pair of comp shoes that are comfortable. These are Shoe Fairy. This part here is different to normal comp shoes. It's, when you first put it on, it seems really tight, but it's really stretchy and then it just kind of morphs to the shape of your foot. So they don't dig in, they don't cut your feet. So I'm really pleased. I finally found some comfortable comp shoes. And something else that I've started doing, which has helped a lot, is I created my own posing timesheet because it's one of the things that I put off a lot. So I'm just writing down the date now and the time that I'm starting, 9:48 p.m. So I can track, because I like building up. You've got to build up your posing endurance, and if you haven't done it for a while, you do lose your endurance very quickly. So you've got to build it up over time. Like, you can't just do nothing for a long time and then expect to be able to do a half an hour or an hour a day. You've got to build it up. So I've been I've got a timesheet for each month and I want to just increase by 5 minutes a day. So my minimum right now is just 10 minutes a day, which is, you know, fuck all. But if I do it every single day, then it gets me in the habit, and then it's easy to build it up and increase, rather than just put it off, and then you try and wing it at the end. You just can't. You can't build up the endurance. It's just like trying to lift a heavy weight when you've never lifted a lighter weight. You just got to give yourself that time. So having comfortable shoes has helped a lot. But now I'm just going to go through my rounds. I'm going to go, and my kitchen floor is quite scary to walk on because it's very slippery. So all I do now is just reps. I'm just going to make sure I'm not in the cracks. If I stand on the cracks, then my shoes wobble a lot. But it's really important that I, you know, watch myself in the mirror and go through it, and then do it without the mirror. Do it slow and controlled. Hold all the poses. Think about what I'm supposed to be working, what I'm supposed to be showing. See, here I'm very tight to my traps. I need to work my traps so I can twist more, push my butt out more, turn to the back. More, I need more flexibility through here so I can arch more to stretch out the hamstrings. Now this is where I do a pop pivot, which is very scary to do on this extremely slippery floor, as well as the pivot to the front. Then I go around to this position to the front, back into that booty pop, which is really hard to do at the moment. I'm going to work on that flexibility, and back into that front pose. So it's still so awkward, and every now and then I've just got to kind of walk, just to kind of loosen myself up. I think it's good in a way though, because if I'm walking around on super slippery surface, and when I do it on the day, it's going to feel like so easy. So it's all completely new to me because I'm so used to standing like that, bending the back knee, straightening the front knee. Now it's actually the opposite. So I'm just trying to create that S shape through here. I'm just going to sit back here so I can see myself in the mirror. Sun comes out first. Twist and turn. Face the back. Shake the hair, which will be down. So here I just need to watch my video back so I can see if I've got my hands in the right position. So I need to be able to flare the lats. I think that's probably going to look better. I'll check the video later. Arms come out first, and then I do a little, that I really need to work on, make sure I don't get any fold underneath the bum. Back to that sun pose. Not that it's really pose, it's more of a transition. And then, yeah, so now what I'm going to do is repeat. And I also got this from a friend of mine, one of my previous videos actually. She said just practice bending forward and arching through your back like a stiff legged deadlift or an RDL, just to build up the endurance through the glutes and the tightness in the lower back, and then learn to twist. So my twist has improved over the years, but it's still nowhere near where I would like it to be. Being able to bring your chest all the way forward, keeping your hips that way so you make your waist look really tiny. And if I'm being completely honest, doing posing in your off season feels, for want of a better word, fucking horrible. Because you feel bloated, you feel puffy, you're white, you're pasty, you don't feel beautiful, and yet you're practicing something that where you're practicing acting like you feel beautiful when you don't, so you're faking it. And I think that's the most important part, is to do it even though you don't like looking at yourself, because some girls will just stop because they don't want to look at themselves, even if you just practice without looking at yourself, because it's the mind-muscle connection, the flexibility, the posing endurance. You got to start before you start feeling beautiful. And even when you get lean, you still feel fucking ugly, but for different reasons. And when you get really lean, especially if you've not got tan, you start to feel like, oh no, I feel like a little rat, like a skinny little runt. So you start feeling ugly for different reasons. I think it's just a female thing. You just program, your brain is just wired to just, I don't know, pick on everything that it can find, and then you disregard all the things that you've done really well. So I don't know if it's just a natural thing or if it's been bred into us as a culture, to just, is it tall poppy syndrome where you, see, I just have, because I've got a mirror behind the camera, whenever I spin around I end up out of the mirror, so I'm just like coming back so I can see. Yeah, see, I accidentally did a figure pose, so I'm going to beat that out of myself. No figure, no more figure. So I literally do at least 10 minutes, squeezing, contracting, filming myself, looking at my videos, seeing if there's anything that needs to be improved on that I can't already feel. So this walk is not a good walk, but I'm doing it anyway to get reps in the shoes. So when I am walking on a surface that's not so scary, I can do the pivot, twist the hips, because you want to face your hips to each side, but I'm just scared if I pivot too much, I'm going to go all the way around and slip. So it's really important. I mean, I haven't done any lessons on walking yet. This is just from, not that I've been walking anyway. So I'm just kind of making it up and just practicing what I've been taught so far. So the more arch here, the better. Turning this knee slightly forward. Hand comes out first. Go into that side pose. Booty pop. So trying to keep the chest up. Turn and twist. Look at the judges, but also show us. This is very hard to do, so tighten the neck. Look first. My neck always cracks when I do that. Okay, and then here, spread the lats. Stretch out through the hamstrings. Arms first. Hop pivot. Turn around. Back into that side pose. Booty pop. And then you can see I'm very awkward, very mechanical so far. But if I keep doing it over and over, then at least I've got the mind muscle connection. I'm not learning it from scratch each time. And as long as I keep repeating every day, then it all starts to look natural, even though it still hurts. Okay, so that's got 3 more minutes, and then I've done 10 minutes. So it's already hurting, but that's the point. I'm not just doing it to remember the moves. I'm doing it to squeeze, like weight training, to get stronger at it. I have to hold. So probably tomorrow or the next day I'll start using the Tabata timer and practice squeezing and holding each pose. Just for 10 seconds first, each pose. Then I'll practice holding each for 20 seconds. So I'll slowly build up the endurance that way. You know, you might never have to hold it on stage for that long, but you should always, you know, in practice, you should do more so that if you ever get stuck in a pose on the day, you're ready for it. I mean, I've been caught out with that before. I had to hold a pose for a long time, and it was one that I hadn't practiced that much. So you just never know what's going to happen. So you just kind of, I think it's better to, well, don't stand on a cat. It's better to just practice everything, and also, you know, practice on your bad side. I mean, obviously I don't practice on my bad side as much as my good side, but you just, feels horrible on this side. So you can just see that it's partly because I haven't practiced on this side, but I just have a better twist. So just knowing where to put my foot, this worst case scenario, who knows, maybe my body will change again one day and that side will start looking better. But just making sure that I don't have to think too much about where my hand goes, where my foot goes. So it's my non-preferred, but at least I know. Rather than, you know, getting on stage and for some reason you have to do the other side and you're like, okay, where does my foot go? Where does my hand go? Where does this go? So, yeah. So I started the posing 7 months out, specifically so that I have little bits that I can start learning now, so that when I get closer, I'm not learning stuff from scratch. I've got some sort of base. And even though I've done other types of posing before, if you're learning a new type, It's completely different. Like you have to squeeze and twist in all different areas of your body. So it's almost like having to unlearn one type of posing is harder than starting from scratch in some ways, because I've already got certain habits that things want to go in a certain spot, and my body's going, no, you should do it like this, and I'm like, no, that's not how I'm doing it anymore. So thanks for hanging out with me while I practice my posing. I think that's 10 minutes. See, my toes are hurting a little bit now, but not as bad because I've got these shoes, which is great. So I'm going to clock out. I've done 10 minutes. Got another posing lesson next week. Get some feedback on the bits and pieces that I've learned. Learn a few more new things, and then I'll probably bump it up to like 12 or 15 minutes a day, with the goal of being able to do an hour a day in the last month before the show. Not all in one go, so maybe 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes around my workout, 10 minutes after a shower, blah, blah, blah. So I just end up doing an hour throughout the day. And that's, think about how good your posing endurance if you can do that much posing throughout the day. Then when you get up on stage and you only have to do 10 or 15 minutes that day, it's like, yeah, that's fine. I did more yesterday, you know what I'm saying? Time for a shower. What time is it? 20 past 10. Thank you for stopping by for this very weird, long and detailed version of day in the life. So I'm trying to make these videos real. And when I say real, I don't mean just raw and unedited. I mean showing up as I am and being honest with how I feel. But I'm just trying to be really real and raw, because this is all part of the journey. It's not always fun. It's not always glamorous. In fact, most of the time it's not. But if you keep showing up, then what happens is when you get low, you don't stay low for too long. So that's why I'm showing up anyway. It keeps me on track making these videos. It keeps me accountable. I love answering your questions. I love telling you about the journey, the highs, the lows, what I'm struggling with. I like that. So thank you for tuning in. If you watched all the way to the end, you are amazing. Thank you. I can't wait to take you on the next part, and I'll see you in the next video.